Let me preface it. I think the United States has changed in ways we never imagined. In just say the last, what should we say, last 10 or 15 years?
Yeah, about
Okay.
that.
We began thinking the mystery was a joke, was a bit, right? We
Yep.
didn't think it was come true. But the United States has changed. Society has changed in the last 10 or 15 years, whatever time period you want to put on it. Gather around your wireless here.
Let me interject also. Going through these Garage Logic 24/7 stream cuts,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in 98, 99 right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm lifting cuts from Children of a Therapeutic Society. There's so many different cuts that it's you have to join it to listen because it's fantastic. And
Predicted this day.
You predicted this stuff 25 years ago.
But I got one now that's worse.
A doozy?
Yeah.
Sign up for the Garage Logic Council.
Yep.
But let me preface it by saying, 10 or 15 years ago, did we really think that climate change would have been accepted by so many people? Not everyone, of course. But what happens if you don't accept it?
You're a denier.
You're-
You're
you're-
ostracized.
You're vilified.
No.
You're vilified. Race. Did we ever think where we would see that just whiteness in and of itself constructs oppression? And if you don't believe that, you're a racist and you're vilified?
Never thought
Well,
we'd see that.
they've brought back racial issues.
Did we ever think that the government would mandate that you have to drive an electric vehicle? And if you doubt that somehow, even GLers have been weighing in with letters questioning my opposition to EVs. So in the main, it's generally accepted, not by everybody, of course, but that EVs are the way to go. And if you don't believe that, you're frowned upon, right? Men can have babies.
What?
Hey now,
If you don't
Maybe I'm pregnant.
I look pregnant.
If you don't believe that, what happens? You're vilified.
Mm-hmm.
You're surprised one
You're,
morning in the bathroom.
You are not accepting enough of gender ideology. So this morning I was working on the show and I came through, I visited a number of websites and I came across a piece on NPR called High Rates of Depression and Anxiety, a Challenge in Minnesota. And then I read that and then I went upstairs and she had left on the TV. She wasn't home. She wasn't home.
Mm.
But as I'm eating lunch, I watched this, I think it's Kate Bolden, who has a morning show on CNN.
Okay.
And she had, as a guest, a female doctor who was all dialed up for her television appearance, suggesting that it's just a matter of time before there will be national screening for anxiety and mental illness. And then it occurred to me
Oh boy.
that here's my prediction. We are going to be told, and the media is complicit in this. They don't push back. They'll accept this, and they'll be the water boys for this.
Mm.
We will be told that all of us, to some degree, will have to be screened. And I want to preface this also by saying I'm not at all denigrating any family struggling with members
Mental
of their
illness.
family with serious mental
Okay.
illness, because it's a serious problem. What I'm talking about is the woke crowd is going to introduce the notion that the lot of us sheep
Mhm.
who have swallowed everything else are now going to have to swallow the fact that we're susceptible to anxiety and depression and mental illness, and that everything that goes wrong will be excused by that. And if you don't start taking this pill, you will fall upon harder times. And I predict that it will become a government program. Just like in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, you go to the counter with your paper cup and they give you the pills you're
Right.
supposed to take that day. Now, I don't think it's tomorrow and I don't think it's next week, but I predict that the people of the United States who aren't thinking, they're too busy making TikTok videos and watching the Kardashians and whatever else they do. But I predict the people of the United States will be susceptible to this manipulation, because it's yet another excuse for them not to express their own individuality. And if you stand up and say, I'm not taking this pill, there's nothing wrong with me,
Right.
you will be vilified. you will be considered an outsider.
That's absolutely outrageous and 100% believable.
Mhm.
As you were talking, I was thinking of my COVID card that I still have in the truck saying that I got 2 jabs of Moderna, and that we had to have those in order to gain access to certain places.
To come here.
Well, listen to this. This is from the New York Post. California just passed a law making it unlawful for doctors to disagree with politicians.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, basically, that's
Basically on the pandemic.
Well,
Yeah.
but Joe, we can trust everything that Gavin Newsom does. Look at how great California's doing.
The statute
Yeah.
instructs that it shall constitute unprofessional conduct for a physician and surgeon to disseminate misinformation or disinformation related to COVID-19, including false or misleading information regarding the nature and risks of the virus, its prevention and treatment, and development, safety, and effectiveness of COVID-19 vaccines. But they're not suggesting that doctors will make those decisions. They're basically saying if you disseminate misinformation or disinformation as it has been given to you by politicians, you are found unlawful. California law requires the Medical Board of California to take action up to and including license revocation
Wow.
against any licensed physician charged with unprofessional conduct.
Mm-hmm.
Scott
There's-
Jensen went through this in Minnesota.
There's exactly.
A
That's
number
what
of
the,
times.
the point I was going to make. There's already physicians that will not, while they're at work, go against the accepted norm from the government right now.
It
They will
used to
not.
be. It used to be what we thought of together in this country. What we thought of as one was our patriotic allegiance to the country, our belief that we were free souls to do what we want to do within the
Right.
law,
Right.
that we were a mighty power that could help the rest of the world. We believed in our own destiny. We believed in our individuality. And now what we're seeing is that what we believe in now is not necessarily those things, but we believe in climate change, believe that white skin color constructs racism. We believe in a Green New Deal. We believe that men can have babies. We believe that kindergartners are capable of deciding their gender. We believe they should have hormone blockers. We believe all of the wrong things. We've gone from believing in grace and virtue into believing all the wrong things. And what I'm suggesting or predicting is that what will be added to that list is we will believe that we are all susceptible to anxiety and depression and mental illness. And the government is there to monitor that and to take care of it.
And to piggyback on what Kenny said just a few minutes ago, the reason why I also believe that this is coming is because we've already seen the indoctrination of young kids, whether it refers to sexuality, whether they've all been inundated with this nonsense from the time that they were 5-6 years old.
And this doctor that CNN had on, they flashed up a graphic on the screen. And what are examples of what you might be screened for anxiety for? Well, I didn't do well in a test, or I'm struggling to make everyone in the class like me. And that it led to that obvious conclusion. What then would you not describe as a symptom of anxiety?
Same thing with climate change. It's too hot out. Well, that's climate change. It's too cold out. It's too dry. It's too wet. Good Lord. That's depressing. Give me my pill.
What age can you vote?
I thought it was 18,
What
18,
age
yep.
can you drink?
21,
What age can you change your sex?
5.
Unfortunately.
I've been noticing these stories and the building of this. I've been noticing it peripherally over about the last year. And it was just ironic that today I saw the piece on NPR. And in fairness to NPR, this same piece could have appeared in any news outlet today in this country. High rates of depression and anxiety, a challenge in Minnesota. See, it's a challenge. No, it isn't. And again, I'm very aware of families struggling with
Right.
genuine problems. That's not
Right.
what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm discussing. High rates of depression. The U.S. Census Bureau has regularly conducted its household pulse survey since May of 2020, asking tens of thousands of Americans detailed questions about whether they've had COVID, the vaccine, employment status, how they're getting childcare, how they're getting food, and the status of their mental health. And now they're saying, are we experiencing any specific symptoms of anxiety or depression? If a respondent has enough symptoms, enough of the time, they are considered to be reporting symptoms consistent with a major depressive order and or generalized anxiety disorder. The following figure,
The generalized anxiety disorder is what is worrying me. What are they going to consider medicine worthy, if that makes any sense? Having anxiety about a job interview,
yes,
having anxiety about getting to work on time when you're
Yes.
stuck in traffic,
yes,
having anxiety about not being able to drink milk or eat
Yes.
cheese.
yes.
Yeah, that's what worries me, Joe.
Battery anxiety on your EV.
Yeah, that's real. I should have medicine for that.
And I bet we'll find that, well, here, it's playing out before our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to asking about economic and health concerns, the Household Pulse Survey also collects demographic information. Using this data, we find that young people, those with a disability, and those who identify as transgender or bisexual have reported the highest rates of anxiety and depression. The survey does not present this demographic detail by state, so the results shown are for the nation overall. Then they break it down by age, by sex, by race, Hispanic ethnicity. And of course, I'm sure that people of color will be found to be struggling more with this. And it's all going to come to fruition with another government agency program.
More red tape.
And no wonder a
Layers.
person identifying as transgender might have anxiety if you're confusing some poor little child at the age of 5. The hell yeah, they're going to be screwed
confused.
up.
They're going to be confused. Yep.
And there's really nowhere to escape this madness. We've been talking about this for some time. That law was just passed in California. It's coming here. We're going to be next. Look at us. We're just like California.
Did you say escape?
Isn't it normal to have a degree of anxiety every day, unless you're
course.
laying on the beach in Maui?
It's part of the human
Driving to
condition.
work
That's
here
that's
every
life.
day.
It's the
isn't-
human condition.
It's what makes you a stout human being.
Drive-
Build character, like they used to say.
Yes, driving here every time I do the podcast. How in the hell am I going to carry the show for these morons who don't know jack?
That's real, Brooke.
That's
you
real.
should
Anxiety.
you should have a pill for that.
Here's my
Thank
paper cup, Nurse Ratchet.
Yes. Just leave the kitchen sink, okay?
What's her name? Louise Fletcher? Yeah.
Yeah,
She recently passed.
Right, she did.
she
I
did.
just lost her.
Climate change got her.
Oh, she was good in that role. Oof.
Oh,
Mhm.
incredible.
Mm-hmm. And she had the face for it, didn't she?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm due for a watch on that.
That
I haven't seen
stern
that for,
look on her lips
30
and her
years.
face were just frightening. Well, there you have it. I've seen it coming, and I didn't know quite how to say it. And then today, these two different events. The story on the NPR as I'm downstairs working on the show, and then come upstairs to eat a quick lunch, and there on TV was a doctor that CNN, and CNN will go along with this. All of the media will. They've been party to this. They act in concert with these movements that get us thinking the wrong thing.
Do you have a date?
I think it's today. I think it's today.
Yeah,
Now,
I think
today
the-
you're not being told to go somewhere and get your pill, but that day will come, just like we had to line up at the Minneapolis Convention Center to get a vaccine.
Yep.